What's good, y'all? You already know what time it is. Joshua Grady here, Agent Grady. This is Agent Talk Podcast. And we just chilling out here, man. What's today? April 1st, Thursday, April 1st. I guess it's April Fool's Day. I don't really get into all that, but that's fine. And we're just here, man, chilling. I'm excited to get a podcast episode out. Got a good amount what I would like to talk on today. The first thing is, what time do you wake up today? Or did you wake up today? What time did you wake up today? I think that's something to ask yourself. This is a dialogue that I've been having a lot lately with people, is about what time to wake up. What's the optimal time to wake up? You already know if you've been tuned in, you know we're trying to be great here on this podcast. And for me, just really going off the top, I think this is a question that we all should ask ourselves. When I was younger, summer, middle school, high school, on the couch till 1, 2, 3 a.m., sometimes waking up 12, 1 o'clock, right? And you get to college, and even still on the off days when I'm not playing ball or don't have anything to do for class or whatever it could be, still really sleeping in. And for me, I got to a point, this was, maybe 2 years ago, I would say, listening to the School of Greatness. And there's this man that came on and he talked about like the 5 a.m. club, I think is what he called it. I could be misquoting it. But he was basically just talking about the benefits of waking up early, the benefits of getting up, the benefits of attacking the day and not letting the day attack you. And so for me, I've just kind of been on a journey, however long, of trying to figure out what is the optimal time for me to wake up, to go to sleep. We'll get in here talking about foods, things of that sort. Really, that almost leads me on a tangent with the podcast itself. I'm a big believer in health and wellness. I'm a big believer in doing the right things for your body and treating the body as a temple. And so I think I want to kind of open up a new section of the podcast that I haven't really been tapping into. I guess I would call it the 5 a.m. crew, perhaps. 5 a.m. crew, 4 a.m. wake up. I guess I don't really have a term like how we have Stocked It Tuesday. Temple Talk was a name. I think that's kind of lame. But basically want to just try to help people tap in more towards maximizing the body that we have. And so going back to, the 5 a.m. crew, 4 a.m. wake up, whatever you want to call it. For me, just being on the journey, I've been led towards waking up at 4 a.m. So Monday through Friday, I have my off days. For instance, today, perfect example. I guess I picked a great day to speak on this. But today I slept in. So I'm not one of those people before you even, there's another one that's like, hardcore discipline and all that. Nope. I slept in today a little bit, spent some time with my wife, spent some time with Roman this morning before they went to work. So still got up around 5, really 4 or something, because Roman somehow does not know what sleeping in is. But that's neither here nor there. So on a standard day, though, I wake up at 4 a.m. So wake up at 4 a.m., try my best to get into my Bible, try my best to drink lemon water, get my blood flowing, movement, do my breathing. We can get into the morning routine a different day. But basically, the wake up is at 4 a.m., okay? And this was something I had posted on my Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram, please do, at @AgentGrady_. And posted this on my stories a few times, just kind of asking people, what time are y'all waking up? And had some people submit some questions to me about my process and waking up, things of that nature. So, why 4 a.m.? Why 4 a.m.? Okay, I was talking with someone earlier today, and I was not led to 4 a.m. wake up at this time. Really, it was from the podcast. Also, shout out my guy, Jeff Blanton. Jeff really put me on. One of my guys that we work out with kind of spearheaded what we're doing right now in the gym. Jeff's been waking up at 4, sometimes 3 a.m. for years. Okay, Jeff's a bit older. So he has had a big influence. But now just kind of, it's one of those things where you accidentally slip into doing something, but then you realize the benefits of it. And so now I've tried to make it maybe even more of a science, I guess, or more of a logistical approach, mathematical approach, pragmatic, whatever your adjective is that you want to put in there. But basically for me, I want to break down my day into 3 8-hour segments, essentially. So you got 3 8-hour segments. 24 hours in a day divided by 3 is 8. Okay, so why the 3 and the 8, for instance? Because we all have our 24 hours. Why break it down to 3 and 8? Well, for me, I know that I don't know if it's factual. I really don't even know if stats backs this up. But I do know one thing that is heavily promoted is the need for 8 hours of sleep. 8 hours of sleep. You gotta get your 8 hours, things of that nature, people say. I don't necessarily believe that you need a full 8 hours. However, I do think it is a good starting block, okay? The reason I say that is because I think, for instance, we'll talk about some health today. Sleep, to me, is the number one ingredient towards a maximized lifestyle that many of us neglect. And so that's why I start with sleep. I've understood and I've learned that it doesn't matter what I'm doing in the gym. It doesn't matter what I'm putting in my body. If I'm not getting my sleep, I'm no good to anybody. I'm no good to my company. I'm no good towards my family, towards my friends, towards anything, to myself. No. Someone can operate without eating for a little bit of time. Someone might be able to operate without exercise for however much. You can't really operate for too long without sleep or your body's going to shut down. That's just the reality of it. And so with that in mind, for me, sleep is where I start. And so I said, well, if I'm going to get my 8 hours of sleep, that's 1/3 of the day taken away. And that's a non-negotiable. Now, I don't get 8 hours every night. That does not happen. However, I want to average across my lifespan 8 hours of sleep. So that's 1/3 of the day. So with that being said, what are we going to do with the other 2/3 of our day? Okay. For a lot of people, we waste time. We're wasting time, whether that's on Instagram, that's on the Netflix, that's on this, that's on that. And so for me, I just wanted to make sure I was maximizing on my time. Okay, so I said, well, if I got these 8 hours of sleep, how can I maximize to make sure that the other 16 waking hours that I have been given and that I've been allotted are reaching their fullest potential? And so for me, I said, okay, well, when am I most productive? Or when am I least productive? This is another question that you have to be able to ask yourself. When are you most productive, least productive? I have come to realize, not factual, just my opinion, that a lot of people have a false sense of productivity at night. I believe that a lot of people have a false sense of productivity at night. I think a common excuse when I do mention, you maybe want to wake up a little earlier, is that people will say, well, I get all of my work done at night. My opinion, that's not good, okay? Go to bed. You're supposed to go to bed at night. Go to sleep. That shouldn't be your most productive hour. Honestly, it's probably your least productive hour. Matter of fact, don't quote me. I know I read the study, though. This guy was saying about how actually, if you look at some of the CEOs, Steve Jobs, the Kanye West to an extent, but some of these, and those are just names, so just to kind of really bring your attention. But if you look more along the lines of the average CEO of a very successful company that you've probably never heard of. So those names I just mentioned, you could probably just throw those out the hat. But now that I've got you paying attention, the average CEO that you probably have never heard of the most successful company that you have never heard of, has realized that we are only given a certain amount of decisions per day. So our brain is only given a certain amount of quality decisions that our brain is able to click through and process each and every day before we go to sleep so it can recharge and rejuvenate. I don't know the amount of decisions. I think that probably varies between each person. But if we are given these amount of decisions, and really what we need to focus on is the amount of good decisions. So say in a given day, and again, I'm just using it as an example, don't know the actual numbers, but say in any given day, you're given, 200, 300 good decisions that you can make in a day, okay? Once you get to X o'clock and you've reached your threshold, say for you can make 300 good decisions in a day. If you hit that number at 4 o'clock p.m., whatever work you're going to do after 4 o'clock p.m., just an example, if you've already, checked out of your good decisions, then the rest of those decisions are going to be a little more sloppy. The rest of those decisions are going to be a little less intentional. Your conversations and your dialogues are going to be a little less focused. Your work is going to be a little less detailed. You know what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? And so I think that's something that you can tangibly take and extract into your life. So for me, if I'm waking up at 7 a.m., okay? But I'm gonna keep my homework and my business decisions and my most important things, my test exam that I need to study for, if I'm keeping my most important things for the end of the day, then by the time I get to them, my brain is fried. You know what I'm saying? My brain is done. And if you're a college student and you're listening to this and you fall into the trap that I fell into, that most students fall into, we're just gonna crank things out at night and we're gonna sleep in and yada yada. Why would you do that? That doesn't make sense. My guy Jimmy, matter of fact, there's a quote. I don't know who broke the quote down for me, but Jimmy Stewart in the garage, he even says often, I think it's a quote, something about like eating a frog. You know, eat the frog. Essentially, I have not heard of it, but to eat the frog means you are going to do your most difficult tasks early, first in the morning. Your most difficult, your most important, your most stressful, your most anxiety-riddled task that's on your to-do list for that day, you want to do them in the morning so they're not just lagging on towards the end of the day, because by the time you get to that end of the day, that thing that you were supposed to be doing earlier, you ain't going to want to do anyway. So that's my little tangent about just the whole excuse about I'm better at night and yada yada is nonsense. Now, I do want to get back to the eating the frog though. Okay, so we talked about, or even why did I say that? We'll get back to the eating frog. Why did I say about the working at night, things of that nature? For me, I realized that I was wasting time at night. I think for a lot of people, I like to ask someone, what are you doing after 8? After 8 o'clock, what is it that you are really doing that you consider to be productive? Okay, because I think too, the bigger issue for people is not the time that they wake up. I think that's what's more daunting. That's more like, whoa, wake up at 4 a.m. Why would I do that? But really, the hardest part for people is going to bed earlier. Going to bed earlier, okay? So I say that because ask yourself, what are you doing from 8 to 11? Say you go to sleep at 11, you wake up at 7. What are you doing from 8 to 11? And if you say you're working, just throw that answer out the window, okay? Throw that answer out the window. What are you doing? For most people, maybe you're on Netflix. You're scrolling on Instagram. You're on Twitter. You're doing maybe YouTube or just hanging out, smoking weed, getting drunk, whatever it could be, whatever it is, non-judgmental zone here. For me though, I just want you guys to be mindful. You now have 3 hours after 8 p.m. 3 hours after 8 p.m., okay? If you take those 3 hours out of 8 p.m., that truly for most people that are being unproductive, not really doing anything to progress the vision or to manifest the vision or get closer to their end goal, if in those 3 hours you are not doing that, those 3 hours are now being wasted. That's what I was doing. So I said, okay, well, from 8 to 11, I'm pretty much not doing anything that's productive. What if I turn those 3 hours into sleep hours and just went to sleep, because sleep is productive? What if from 8 to 11, instead I went to sleep, I shaved those hours off of my day and then stacked them now into the morning? Because now those hours that I did not have in the morning, the 4 to 7, when I was sleeping, if I'm now awake for those 3 hours, my brain is fresh. My brain is ready to go. I'm ready to attack the day. And so it's basically the quick exchange from these 3 hours when you're foggy, you're drained, you're tired, you're just being up to be up, catching up with the world for no reason, to now exchange that into these 3 hours. And in these 3 hours, you're productive, fresh blood, fresh brain flow, new air, new opportunity, new oxygen, a new day, okay? You're basically taking the last 3 and making it in the first 3, okay? Simple exchange, to me that makes sense. Now, when we look at nature, why does this make sense according to nature? If the sun go up, I'm going up. If the sun going down, I'm going down. There is a term called the circadian rhythm. If you have not heard of that, you should do some research. The circadian rhythm. Again, I'm not a scientist, so I'm going to paraphrase. But every animal has a circadian rhythm to them. Matter of fact, we got a good old laptop right here, so I ain't got to trip. So circadian rhythm. A circadian rhythm, or a circadian cycle, is a natural internal process that regulates the sleep-wake cycle and repeats roughly every 24 hours. It can refer to any process that originates within an organism and responds to the environment. Okay? For a lot of us, we are out of tune with our environment. We are out of tune with our natural environment. Very in tune, with our man-made environment, very in tune with our room, with our walls, with our phone, with our computer, with the lights, the camera, and all. We're very in tune with that. Very out of tune with nature, with the trees, with the birds, with the sun, with the moon, with the stars, with air, everything, okay? For me, as I had mentioned before, sun going up, sun going down. Every day the sun goes up, every day the sun goes down. And so for me, what I wanted to do is to feel like, okay, really even just kind of peel back the layers. We haven't talked too much on the Bible on the podcast. That's going to change. However, when you just kind of see and try to connect ourselves to the makeup of the world, of how God created creation, all of these lights, really that's the main thing for a lot of you. The reason you can't sleep at night is because you got too many lights going on in your room, on your phone, your laptop. It's too much coming to your eyes, okay? But if you kind of peel back what man has created, the original lights that God gave us was the sun, the moon, and the stars. The sun, the moon, and the stars, okay? The sun being the greater light. And so for me, I just kind of got to a point where I realized, I was like, man, God kind of made the sun to go up when it goes up for a reason. He made the sun to go down when it goes down for a reason. Maybe that reason is for us. And so for me, waking up at 4, the sun is not just yet up, but it is beginning to rise. Okay, beginning to rise. So every morning I wake up at 4, the birds are already awake because they know the sun is about to get up. They're about to get ready to catch their worms. Okay, when I wake up at 4, Chance sees me, he's ready. He's not just chilling on the couch. He's like, okay, I can do this. Because it's natural. It's natural to get up as the sun is getting up. When you even just look back at history, before we had the meat market and the fresh market and Whole Foods and all of this, if you're going to go hunt for the day and you're responsible to feed your family, you're not going to wait till 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock to go out on the hunt. You're going to wake up early before your peers, before your classmates, before other agents, before other marketing reps, before other athletes are getting up so you can get ahead of the competition for that food to feed your family. It's the same thing, okay? It's the same thing. When the sun is going down, it's to me telling my body it's time to start shutting it down, okay? Instead of, again, a big issue for us is when the sun's going down, we still have so much access to lights. We have so much coming in, so much information, TVs, and so much our brains don't understand how to slow it down a little bit. But when you can get into it and be able to say, okay, when the sun's going down, and I still need to get better at this, but when the sun's going down, the phone's going down, the laptop's going down. It's no more movies. It's no more TV. It's time to get my mind ready to just relax and get into rest mode. When you can learn to do that, you can make the 4 a.m. happen, okay? And the benefits are just enormous, man. And I know I'm going on my tangents. To me, waking up early is just something that is just so, let me make sure my wife's on. It's just something that's just so impactful, so empowering. It's just, and I guess it's even what you do. We talked about eating a frog. I get up at 4. My first task of the day, 5 a.m. I'm at the gym. 5 a.m. I'm at the gym, eating a frog, doing your hardest task in the beginning of the day. A lot of people, when we talk about the exercise, a lot of people make excuses. I don't have time. I have a child. I got 2 jobs. I got this, I got that you can't take care of your body? What? Excuse me? You can't take care of your body. You can't take care of nobody else. If you're not taking care of your innards, if you're not taking care of your organs, your heart, your mind, your brain, if you're not getting blood flow throughout your body, if you're not getting movement, we haven't even gotten to the food yet. I'm simply just talking about getting up. It doesn't have to be lifting weights. I lift weights. It can be walking. It can be yoga. It can be bicycling. It can be whatever it is. But for a lot of people, that is the hardest thing you're going to do throughout the day. And that's why a lot of people don't ever do it throughout the day. And so for me, being able to get up, get my body moving, get to the gym, put myself in a position of uncomfort, get in the squat bar on my back, having 400 pounds on my back, at 5:30 a.m., by the time I get to handling whatever business with GSA, getting on a Zoom with whoever, having to talk to my wife about the budget, or doing whatever it could be with Roma, whatever it might be, I've already done the hardest thing that I have to do in the day by the time we get to 7 a.m., okay? And so everything else, downhill. For a lot of people, if you just now waking up at 7, the moment you start your day, you're not having no mental time. You're not having no meditation time. I'm able to get some time to breathe. I'm able to drink lemon water in the morning, even just water, period. I'm able to walk around. I'm able to use the bathroom. For a lot of people, you're checking the emails before you even use the toilet. Like, that's the facts. And someone might have laughed at that, but that's the reality. Like, for a lot of you probably listen to this right now or watching this right now, before you ever do anything for yourself throughout the day, you're doing for other people. You're checking your email. You're checking your text messages. You're going on Instagram looking at other people's lives. And instead, for me, why don't you just take an hour for yourself, okay? You don't have to, again, go work out. That can be an hour learning how to play the violin. That can be an hour in your journal, in your Bible, or reading this book, or doing something to help you advance in your life. But for a lot of people, again, the moment we wake up, we're being attacked by the world. We're being consumed by the world. But if you wake up at 4 a.m., there's nobody texting me. There's nobody sending me an email at 4 a.m. There's nobody that I need to tend to. My own wife and child are asleep. Roman, not always sleep. Okay, so maybe take that back. But when I get up, like, I'm on the offense. I'm dictating. This is what I'm going to do today. I'm able to give myself time to get my breathing right. I'm able to spend some time with the Lord. I'm able to spend some time with friends. By the time 7 a.m. comes, I've already been in the Word. I've seen my wife. I've given her a kiss on the cheek. Certain mornings, I'm able to give Roman a kiss on the cheek by the time that hour comes. Maybe sometimes we'll take a chance on the wall. Maybe by that time, I'm able to be on the offense and send out emails to people that by the time they wake up, I'm in their inbox and they're not in mine. You see what I'm saying? So for whatever that is for you, just apply it to your own life. If you're a mom, maybe getting that extra hour, getting that extra 2 hours allows you, like I've been telling Liv, it's a lot harder for her to ride the Peloton at night. But if she gets up in the morning, sometimes it might be a little easier. So she knows that the rest of the day I've already worked out that day. So whatever it is for you, again, I know I'm rambling, getting on my tangents, but that's what I do on here. You know, I just want people to be great. I want people to be able to tap in. I want y'all to wake up earlier. Like, get up. Why are you sleeping in? Hey, what you sleeping in for? And honestly, a lot of people, the reason we're sleeping in, not wanting to get up in the morning, is not just because we're not going to bed on time. Not because we're wasting time at 11 a.m. or 11 p.m. What are you doing? There's nothing on TV. It's garbage at that point. It's garbage. But for a lot of us, we're waking up with nothing to wake up for. We're waking up without a purpose. We're waking up without a dream, without a vision, without something to fight for. We're waking up without something to get excited for. I remember I watched, it was an episode that Steve Harvey had talked on. He was talking about the alarm clock and how he used to hate when the alarm clock would go off. And I know for a lot of y'all that might be watching or listening, or not just y'all, but a lot of people, when the alarm clock goes off, they hate that they're having to be awake. They hate that it's a new day. What? Think about how sad that is. And if that's you, I understand because I've been there. Let's shift the game. That's what this whole podcast is about. There's somebody watching this. I don't know who this is, but I feel the spirit coming on. And what I can tell you that is listening to this is you have a higher purpose. You have a higher calling. Okay? So this is what we do on Agent Talk, man. We go on tangents. I'm done with the 4 a.m. But there's someone, I don't know who it is. There's somebody watching, listening to this. You need to know that you are worth it. You need to know that you are enough. You need to know that when it's time to wake up in the morning, like, it's time to get to it, okay? You have a vision that God has given you that for whatever reason, there are seeds of doubt, seeds of fear, seeds of failure that are in your mind stirring around, but you got to let that go, man. You got to let that go. That's one of the reasons I'm telling y'all, like, getting up is I wake up certain days with anxiety. I wake up certain days thinking about the bills that are due. I wake up certain days thinking about the tasks at hand and how daunting they can be. You know, today's April 1st. I woke up with a sense of unrestness that the draft is less than a month. I did. I really did. However, when you are able to wake up and just listen, nothing. All the fears, the worries, the stress, the anxiety, the pressure, all of that, it's external, man. It's external. And the issue when you're waking up too late in the day is you don't have time to separate the internal from the external. Your internal just becomes external. All the external issues and the pressures, they seep into your heart. They seep into your soul. You don't have any time to really kind of divide, okay, what's truth, what's false, what's truth, what's garbage, what do I really need to tend to versus what is just extracurricular. Okay, and so for me, I could talk about this all day, but that's just my thoughts. Just really want to get a podcast out. For one, I haven't put one out in a while. But man, just an encouragement, y'all. Like, ask yourself what time you're getting up. What are you doing? And I understand, I guess the one aspect that I understand for people is if you have a late night job. If you have a late night job, I understand if you're a waiter or you're doing this, you're doing that, and you have a job that is keeping you out late, and so I understand that. Stock Tip Tuesday, I just put out my first reel on Instagram, again, at Agent Grady _ might be able to help you with that if you have one of these jobs, not necessarily if it's your career, but if you have one of these jobs, it's really just short term, but it's kind of stressing you out. You really might not even like it too much, and you're being up way later than 8 p.m., which is what I would suggest. Go to my reel, it's on my Instagram. Easy way, what I consider the silent come up when it comes to finances. I'm sure I'll talk on that at another time. But I just want y'all to be great, man. I want y'all to get up. That's it. Like, get up and go get it. Like, get up and get it. Like, let's get it. That's all I already got. So, Joshua Grady here. If you're not already, follow us on the gram at Agent Talk Podcast. We're on the YouTube, we're on the audio platforms, all the things you already know what to do. Hit me with a subscribe, thumbs up, if this brought some fruit to your life. If not, then maybe next time. Joshua Grady here, Agent Grady.